for startup and AI. So I am going to, most of the topics we heard today were threats for AI, right? So I want to look at the other side of AI, how AI can benefit in identifying product market fit faster. So in any startup, the critical thing is to find the product market fit, right? So why startups fail? Like 42% of the time startups fail because they couldn't find any market fit, or they ran out of cash before they found the market need for the application that they built. That is the statistics everyone knows very well. So most often what we do, we start building products in silo. Like we are all tech guys, even I am a very much tech, I'm a chief technology officer for my app. So most of the time 18 hours I am working on a room in my home, right? I look at technology, I tend to build something like this, but the customers only need this, right? So there are many fancy technologies here. So when you start building in silos, we tend to overbuild. And how to find a product market fit, right? So you can sell any fancy products to your customers, and there could be a lot of customers, but the customer retention is going to keep falling down like this in this curve. So where you find a market fit is the customers are being retained and they are using your product on a day-to-day basis. That is the most critical path here. Like you see in a product A, where the customers are still retaining, they continue to use over time, but in product B, they are steep down the curve. They install your product, buy your product, but they don't use it. So how are we finding product market fit, right? Just a second. So current processes, right? So current processes for product market fit, we do a lot of interviews. That's what we used to do. We go meet customers. We have focus groups. We also do a lot of research for market trends online, and also we do a lot of surveys, right? Finding people, interviewing people is a manual task. We have to go through a lot of people, a lot of trench of data to find the trends, and then come up to see what really the need is in the market before we build the application. It's a lot of manual process. That's what we also went through, right? So with AI in place, how can we optimize the process? So with AI powered user research, so with AI, with generative AI, with all the data you collected through surveys, you can generate a feedback of all the customer feedback or user feedback. You can create a survey of it, a summary of it, and generative AI for designs, right? So you don't need to rely on a designer. You can do a design by yourself. AI has many complex or very intuitive designs. Like there are a lot of AI tools now available. With just prompts, you can create your user designs and wireframes very quickly. Also, AI-driven A/B testing. You can create custom prompts for testing for users. You also have automated code generation. You don't need to hire a developer. So you need to find a market fit before you hire your first developer. That's a mistake we did. We built a product. We already started marketing it, but there are no users, because we made a mistake of hiring developers, building products before we found a market fit. With AI, we also have chatbots. You can automate the chatbots, right? So users don't like giving feedbacks through forms or through surveys. So you can also create some chatbots, so where users can share their feedback through chatbots. Also data mining. With AI tools, you can mine the data and find insightful insights from data mining. Industry expert. Yes, AI can be your industry expert. For example, here in the US, we are trying to partner with industry experts for our app. Like let's say it could be a service-based industry or manufacturing or construction or roofing. When you look at high level, you know the business process, but when you go deep into it, you don't understand what the business process is. So that's where you need an industry expert. AI could be your industry expert or companion. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So are you saying that we should use AI to validate your idea before you build the product?
Yes.
But
yes.
are you giving away the secret sauce or whatever you want to hold close to your heart until, because if you're using AI tools that is in the market, you're putting it out in the world. At least OpenAI will know if you're using ChatGPT.
Yes. So yeah. So not really giving up my idea. Before even building the product, I need to know if the problem is valid, right? So I'm trying to gather more information online before I start building the product. It could be a USP, like it could be a technology that I have in my mind, but I want to validate if the problem is right using the AI tools with the data that is already available in the public market or from user feedback. It's not really about giving away my idea to the public users, about validating if that idea is right with the public information that is already available. Yeah, yeah.
So you're not giving up the secret sauce, but you are giving up the aha.
Yes.
The need.
What's the need? Yeah. Hey, do you have this problem? If I build this solution, will it help for you? Something like that.
Building the product is how, right?
How?
You are holding the how,
Yes.
but you are
Giving away
testing
the
the
water.
water.
Testing the water. So what I'm trying to say here is say don't build anything before you test the waters or identify the problem if there is a need in the market, right? So now, like I said, like a mock-up user, like AI, you can come up with mock-up users, and AI can give you the manipulated data. I mean, mock-up data for you to test if your idea and the wireframes that you build is correct. So even though we have AI, like we discussed, we have a lot of features that you could benefit by using AI. AI can help you with all of these data, but AI still has gaps, right? It cannot be like the human interaction that you have with the real user. There are still gaps. Like for example, this is one video I want to play. Like we a lot of times build the application for this, right? But when we go to the user and ask the feedback, they tend to use it for this. Right, so that's where it. I mean, even though you have all the data, I mean, I'm just replaying it if you couldn't see it clearly. So a lot of times, even though we have the data, we think this is what we are building it, but users really use it for
Pancake, the other one is protecting their home.
protecting their home or beating their husband. You can take it either ways, right? So that's where AI is not going to give you all the information. That's why we go to each customer. We try to go to each business, understand their processes, like there where we went to El Salvador, where there's a tissue paper manufacturing company. They wanted to use our app, and here it is an apartment here in the Fort Worth. They are using our application. We meet them, we try to understand their process. So not just collecting the data from artificial intelligence or any other means, it's also matters you go and try to fill those gaps. So measures for success, right? So in addition to all of this, so we have collected data through AI, we have collected data by visiting customers. You also need to measure these metrics. You have customer acquisition cost, addressable market size, customer lifetime value, the marketing budget, serviceable obtainable market, and burn rate, right? So these are critical measures for any SaaS company. Like I'm sure my investor friend is not here. He'll be very happy to see this metrics here. This is what the question is going to ask to any SaaS company that is going to invest, right? So, but before you build the product, it is good for you to forecast these measures, not after building it. Most often we measure these after we build the product, but it is good for us to measure or forecast these measures before we build the product. What will be the customer acquisition cost if I go in that path? What will be my addressable market size if I am going to take this problem and solve it as a solution? Right, what will be my customer lifetime value? And I talk about customer lifetime value, how much the customer is going to pay as long as he is going to use my platform, right? So what will be my marketing budget? What will be my serviceable obtainable market, right? So these are critical questions that we should ask ourselves before we start building a product and we are identifying a product market fit. Again, it's an iterative process. You are not going to find the product market fit in day one. So we started as a chat application, then when we went to public e-commerce, then we went to tracking location application. Now we are order management, service management, task management, along with collaboration. So we pivoted a lot. So this is a continuous loop in any startup. I'm sure most of you here who are startup founders, you know this is a continuous loop. You have to go talk to your customers, do customer discovery, validate the customers, validate the hypothesis with your customer, and then co-create with the customer. That is very important, right? Like the initial slide I showed, you should not be building in silos. You should co-create with your customer, like discover, validate, and always co-create with your customer. That is very critical for building your organization. With this said, I just want to quickly show a couple of companies that got pivoted. Might be, I don't know if some of you here can you answer what is that company? What is the name of that company now, the top left? Any ideas? Any guesses? It's PayPal. So they built the software for mobile device payment for mobile device before they pivoted to PayPal for online payments. So that's the first mobile device software they built for payment transactions. Then they used the same software to build online payments. Any guesses of this one, the bottom left? It's used by kids mostly now, if you have a daughter or a son. It's a Play-Doh. So they started as a wall cleaner. They saw that it's been used in schools for making crafts. That's when this company, they just pivoted to become Play-Doh. So the Play-Doh is nothing but a wall cleaner in 1980s or 1960s, I think. Yeah. And this one, I'm sure none of you can guess because it's our app, Jugl. So when we started, we wanted to do everything. You can see wall. We wanted to be a Facebook wall. We created groups, subgroups within groups. We also wanted to do for home, business, service, whatever. So we built this design. At the time, WhatsApp didn't have any subgroups. So we thought it would be cool to build groups within groups. We also came up with a wall feature. We also came up with so many you can even create your business within the chat app. The design was cool. When we went and presented it to the users, they were all confused. They were not sure, hey, what should I do with this? Is it a chat application? Is it a business application? Is it a task management application? We thought business users are already accustomed to chat applications. That's why we built this interface. But they were really amused, or it was overwhelming for them. So that's where we have to go co-create with the users. Like I said, like customer discovery, customer validation, iterating on it is really critical for any product or startup success. That's all. Thanks everyone. Thank you.